Hey Taurus, welcome back to another reading. I'm so glad you're here because the energy coming through for you right now is absolutely fascinating. I've been sitting with these cards for a bit, and I have to tell you, there's something really powerful happening in your energetic field. Someone out there is feeling your presence in a way they cannot ignore anymore. And the cards are showing me exactly what's going on beneath the surface. So let me just shuffle and connect with your energy. I'm asking the universe to show me what's happening with this magnetic pull you have over someone, why they suddenly cannot stay away, and what they're truly feeling about wanting to be part of your world. The energy is already coming through strong before I even lay out the cards. All right, Taurus, I just pulled the first card, and this is the Ace of Swords. Right off the bat, we're talking about mental clarity and breakthrough realizations. This person has had a major awakening about you. You know how sometimes you can ignore feelings or push away thoughts about someone, but then suddenly one day everything becomes crystal clear. That's exactly what happened here. This Ace of Swords is telling me this person had a moment of absolute truth where they could no longer lie to themselves about how they feel regarding you. The sword cuts through all the illusions and denial they've been holding on to. What I find really interesting about this card in your reading is the timing of it. Aces represent new beginnings and fresh starts. So this clarity they're experiencing is recent. This isn't someone who has been pining away for months or years. No, this is someone who maybe thought they had you figured out, thought they could maintain distance, thought they could keep you in a certain box in their mind, and then something shifted. Maybe they saw you differently, maybe they heard something about you. Maybe they just had enough space away from you to realize what they were missing. But whatever triggered it, the Ace of Swords shows that mental breakthrough was sharp and undeniable. This card also speaks to communication and truth. I'm seeing that this person might be dealing with the realization that they need to speak their truth to you. They're processing how to approach this, how to articulate what they're feeling, because the Ace of Swords demands honesty. They cannot come to you with half-truths or games anymore. If they're going to step into your world, they know it has to be with genuine intentions and clear communication. You've created an energy around yourself, Taurus, where people feel they cannot BS their way in. Your magnetic pull isn't just attracting anyone, it's attracting people who are ready to be real with you. The sword pointing upward in this card also shows me that this person's thoughts about you are reaching higher consciousness. They're not just thinking about surface-level attraction or casual connection, they're contemplating deeper questions, like what role you could play in their life, how being close to you might change them, what possibilities could open up. This is intellectual and spiritual attraction combined, which is incredibly powerful. Moving to the second card, I pulled the King of Swords. And wow, Taurus, the sword energy is strong in your reading. This is fascinating because we're seeing the journey from the ace to the king, from that initial clarity to mastered understanding. The King of Swords represents someone who is strategic, intelligent, and someone who makes decisions based on logic and observation. This could be describing the person who's drawn to you, or it could be describing the energy they're witnessing in you. Let me explore both possibilities because I think they're both true. First, if this is the person, we're talking about someone who is typically very controlled, very much in their head, someone who doesn't usually let emotions override their judgment. This is not someone who falls easily or admits vulnerability readily. The fact that they're feeling this magnetic pull towards you, despite their usual logical approach to life, shows just how powerful your energy truly is. You've managed to affect someone who prides themselves on being unshakable. That's significant. But here's what I'm really picking up on. This King of Swords energy is actually what they see in you. They're observing you from a distance, and they're seeing someone who has mastered their own power, someone who speaks with authority, someone who has clear boundaries and standards. Kings sit on thrones, right? They rule their domain. This person is recognizing that you're not just passively existing in your life, you're actively creating your reality, you're making decisions that serve your highest good, and you're not compromising your values for anyone. This is incredibly attractive to people, especially to those who value intelligence and strength. The King of Swords is drawn to equals, to people who can match their mental capacity and engage in meaningful exchange. What's happening is this person is realizing you're not someone they can impress with superficial things. You require depth. You require authenticity. You require someone who can stand in their own power beside you rather than trying to diminish yours. The King of Swords also indicates that this person is watching and assessing. They're not rushing in blindly. They're taking their time to understand you, to figure out the right approach, to prepare themselves for the level of connection you require. Some might see this as calculated, but honestly, it shows respect. They know you're not someone to approach carelessly. They want to come correct or not come at all. There's also an element here of this person recognizing that you see through things. The King of Swords has the ability to cut through deception and perceive truth. They know that you have this quality, that you're perceptive and aware, and they cannot show up in your life with anything less than genuine intentions. This is why they're taking their time, why they're building up the courage, why they're making sure they're ready. Your magnetic pull isn't just drawing them closer, it's also holding them accountable to be their best self. Now the third card is coming through, and it's the King of Wands. Okay, so we've gone from mental clarity to mastered intellect, and now we're stepping into passionate leadership and creative fire. Taurus. The energy is building in this reading. The King of Wands brings such dynamic, charismatic energy. This card is telling me that what this person wants is not just to observe you from afar or admire you from a distance. They want to actively participate in your world. They want to bring their fire to your experience. The King of Wands is a natural leader, someone who is confident, bold, and willing to take risks. This person is realizing that being in your orbit, being part of your world, would ignite something in them. You represent inspiration to them. You represent possibility. When they think about connecting with you on a deeper level, they don't just think about romance or companionship, they think about adventure. They think about growth. They think about becoming more of who they're meant to be. What I love about this card in your reading is that it shows mutual empowerment. The King of Wands doesn't seek to dominate or control, but rather to co-create and build together. This person wants a taste of your world because they can sense that your world is rich with opportunity, creativity, and authentic living. Maybe you've been focusing on your passions lately. Maybe you've been building something that excites you. Maybe you've just been living in a way that reflects your true desires rather than what others expect of you. Whatever it is, people are noticing, and this person specifically is feeling called to be part of that energy. There's also a sexual and physical attraction component to the King of Wands that I need to mention. This isn't just cerebral or emotional attraction. There's a primal, magnetic, physical pull happening. This person finds you incredibly attractive on all levels. And the wand suit is all about passion and desire. They're feeling that fire when they think about you, when they're around you, when they imagine what it would be like to be closer to you. This is that can't eat, can't sleep, reach for the stars, over the fence, World Series kind of feeling, if you know what I mean. But beyond the attraction, the King of Wands is showing me that this person respects your autonomy and your independence. They're not trying to clip your wings or dim your light. They want to witness your fire and add their own to it. They want to see what happens when two powerful forces come together with mutual respect and genuine appreciation. This is not about possession, it's about partnership in the truest sense. The fourth card I pulled is the Nine of Wands, and this is where things get even more interesting. The Nine of Wands is the card of perseverance, of pushing through despite challenges, of standing guard over what you've built. I'm seeing two layers to this card in your reading, Taurus, and both are super relevant to understanding what's happening. First layer, this person has been through some things. The Nine of Wands often appears when someone has battle scars, when they've been hurt or disappointed before, when they've learned to protect themselves. This person who is feeling your magnetic pull has probably been cautious in love or connection. They've put up walls, they've told themselves they don't need anyone or that they're fine on their own. But despite all of that protection, despite all those defenses, they still cannot resist being drawn to you. That says everything about how powerful your energy is right now. They might be scared of this pull they're feeling because it threatens their carefully constructed walls. The Nine of Wands shows someone who is battle-weary, but still standing, still willing to fight for what matters. They're at a point where they're deciding whether it's worth it to lower their guard for you, whether it's worth the risk to step into vulnerability again. The fact that they're even considering it, that they're even feeling this magnetic pull, despite their resistance, shows that you've touched something deep within them. The second layer is actually about you, Taurus. The Nine of Wands can represent the energy you're putting out into the world. You've been through your own journey. You've built something valuable in your life, whether that's your sense of self, your career, your peace of mind, your standards, your lifestyle. And you're protective of it, as you should be. You're not just letting anyone in anymore. You've learned your lessons and you know your worth. This is exactly why this person cannot avoid your magnetic pull. There's something incredibly attractive about someone who knows themselves, who has clear boundaries, who has worked on themselves and isn't desperately seeking validation from others. You're giving off this energy of, I'm complete on my own, but I'm open to someone who adds value. That's magnetic as hell. People can sense when someone is needy versus when someone is self-sufficient and secure, and you're emanating that secure energy right now. The Nine of Wands is the second to last card in the suit, which means you're almost at completion, almost at the fulfillment of the Ten of Wands cycle. You've done the work. You've carried the burdens. You've persevered through challenges. And now you're at this place where you're ready for something new, but you're not forcing it. You're simply being. And that beingness is what's creating this magnetic field around you. This person sees that you're not chasing anyone. They see that you have your own full life. They see that you're not sitting around waiting for someone to complete you. And paradoxically, that makes them want to be chosen by you even more. They want to be the one who gets past your defenses, not by breaking them down, but by being worthy of you lowering them voluntarily. The fifth card is the Eight of Swords. And honestly, Taurus, this card is showing me so much about this person's internal struggle. The Eight of Swords is traditionally about feeling trapped, restricted, or limited, usually by one's own thoughts and perceptions rather than actual external circumstances. Look at the imagery of this card. There's usually someone blindfolded and surrounded by swords, but if they just removed the blindfold and took a step, they'd realize they're not actually trapped. This person has been restricting themselves from approaching you or admitting their feelings. They've created mental barriers about why they can't or shouldn't pursue this connection. Maybe they're telling themselves you're out of their league. Maybe they're convinced you wouldn't be interested. Maybe they're afraid of rejection or looking foolish. Maybe they think the timing is wrong or that there are too many obstacles. Whatever the specific story is, they've been binding themselves with their own limiting beliefs. But here's what's beautiful about the Eight of Swords appearing in this reading about someone who cannot avoid your magnetic pull anymore. This card suggests that those self-imposed restrictions are starting to feel unbearable. The discomfort of staying trapped in their own mind is becoming greater than the fear of taking action. Your magnetic energy is literally pulling them out of their self-imposed prison. They're starting to realize that the barriers they thought were insurmountable are actually just thoughts, just fears, just illusions. I'm also picking up that this person might have been trapped in old patterns or past situations that prevented them from fully recognizing what was right in front of them. The Eight of Swords can indicate being stuck in the past, being unable to see current reality clearly because you're still wearing the blindfold of old experiences. But your energy is so bright, so magnetic, that it's forcing them to remove that blindfold and see you clearly, see the present moment clearly, see the possibility clearly. There's a liberation that's beginning to happen for this person. The Eight of Swords is card number 8, and eights are about power and movement. Even though the imagery looks restrictive, there's an underlying energy of breakthrough. This person is on the verge of freeing themselves from whatever has been holding them back from pursuing you or admitting how they feel. Your magnetic pull is quite literally breaking through their mental and emotional constraints. What I find really powerful is that you're not doing anything to convince them or chase them or prove yourself. You're simply existing in your authentic power. And that alone is enough to make them question every reason they had for staying distant. That's true magnetism. That's true influence. You're not manipulating or forcing anything, you're just being yourself. And that's dissolving all their resistance. Now for the sixth and final card, I pulled the Emperor and Taurus. This is such a perfect card to complete this reading. The Emperor is card number 5 in the major arcana, and it represents structure, authority, stability, and masculine leadership energy. This card is telling me exactly what this person wants when they say they want a taste of your world. The Emperor is drawn to your sense of order, your ability to create structure in your life, your leadership qualities, and your stability. Even as a Taurus, you're naturally ruled by Venus, which is about beauty and pleasure, but you also have this incredible earthy stability and ability to build lasting foundations. This person sees that in you. They see someone who has their life together, who makes solid decisions, who creates security, who can be counted on. What they want is to be part of that stable, structured world you've created. In a world where so many people are chaotic, unstable, or constantly changing direction, you represent groundedness and reliability. That's incredibly attractive, especially to someone who might be tired of drama, tired of uncertainty, tired of people who can't commit or follow through. You represent something real and solid in a world of illusions and temporary connections. The Emperor also indicates that this person respects your authority and your autonomy. They're not looking to come in and take over your life or change who you are. They want to be invited into your kingdom, into your empire, as someone who adds value and respects the systems and structures you've already established. This is someone who understands that you're the ruler of your own life, and they're asking for a place within that rather than trying to overthrow it. There's also a beautiful balance here between the masculine Emperor energy and your Taurus Venus energy. This suggests a complementary dynamic where there's both passion and stability, both excitement and security, both independence and partnership. This person brings their own strength and structure, and they recognize yours, and they're imagining what it would be like to build something together where both people maintain their individual power while creating something even stronger as a unit. The Emperor is a card of manifestation and action. While they've been in the Eight of Swords, trapped by their own thoughts, the Emperor represents them finally taking action, making decisions, and stepping into their power to pursue what they want, which is you. This card suggests that movement is coming, that this person is going to transition from thinking and feeling to actually doing something about this magnetic pull they're experiencing. So let me bring all of this together for you, Taurus. Someone in your energy field has had a major breakthrough in clarity about how they feel about you. That's the Ace of Swords. They're recognizing that you're an intellectual and spiritual equal, someone who has mastered your own power and cannot be approached with anything less than authenticity. That's the King of Swords. They're feeling inspired and passionate about the possibility of being part of your world, wanting to bring their creative fire to your experience. That's the King of Wands. Both of you have been through challenges and have built protective walls, but your magnetic energy is so strong that it's making them reconsider their defenses. That's the Nine of Wands. They've been trapped by their own limiting beliefs and fears, but your pull is so powerful that it's breaking through those mental barriers and forcing them to see reality clearly. That's the Eight of Swords. And ultimately, they're drawn to the stability, structure, and authentic power you represent. And they're moving toward taking real action to be part of your world. That's the Emperor. This is not about someone who wants a casual fling or a temporary distraction. This is someone who sees the real value in who you are and what you've built. They want a taste of your world because your world represents everything they've been seeking. You represent authenticity in a world of facades, stability in a world of chaos, depth in a world of superficiality, and power in a world where so many people give theirs away. Your magnetic pull is working not because you're trying to attract anyone, but because you've done the inner work. You've built a life that reflects your values, and you're simply being yourself without apology or compromise. That's the most attractive thing a person can do. You're not chasing, you're not convincing, you're not proving your worth. You're just standing in your power, and the right people cannot help but be drawn to that. I hope this reading resonated with you and gave you some insight into what's happening energetically. If you felt this reading, drop a comment and let me know which card spoke to you the most. I'm curious if any of this is confirming what you've been sensing or experiencing. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next reading.